Welcome back, everybody. I'm Mark here with my son Kenny, and we're here to help make writing research papers and other things a whole lot easier for you. And so welcome to step 2 of your classmate profile essay. And as we said before, this is a version of what, buddy?
Research paper.
Okay, that's graded research paper. All right, so you have your topic here. Obviously, you've done your research, which comes in the form of what, dude?
Research and
The interview, right?
Yeah.
With like how many times?
as many times as you need.
Tons of times. And now it's time to do our favorite thing here, which is write. All right. Now, you may have come across the dreaded disease already, which is what, buddy?
Writer's block.
And just to recap, what did we say were the causes of that?
Fear and not knowing what you're talking about.
All right, so because you've done the interview and talked to each other back and forth and gotten to know one another to establish such an incredibly strong ethos to be able to know what you're talking about, this is no longer a problem, right, Rob?
Yeah.
Now, how do we deal with this? I'll tell you, I used to get that too, and in fact, when I wrote this first long version of a research paper where I had to go to Japan and track people down and do interviews and do all kinds of different other archival research, work in the library, all that, I didn't really know what I'm about to tell you. So it was pretty torturous to get to page 1 and try to write this thing, and I did write paragraph 1 and 2 600 times. Have you ever been in that situation, buddy?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a miserable place to be because you're trying to make the book come out of your head onto the page the way it will appear in between pages. Now, I wrote this one many years later. Did this thing come out of my head into this book onto the page directly the way that I thought about it, buddy?
No.
No. Okay, what happened first?
You did research.
I did a bunch of research, and then how did I write it?
Handwritten.
The whole book, right here in this notebook and a bunch of other ones. I brought this one, but this is that book, handwritten in here. All right, so that's what we're going to do to eliminate the fear when you're able to write your first draft of your profile essay. Okay, handwritten. This means even yours is going to be handwritten. All right, so that's step 1, is all you do is get to some blank page, if I can find one here. This is no longer a scary place when you're writing by hand because obviously it looks extremely messy when you've written it. Obviously it's going to be revised later. All those things free you from the chains of having to go, what is the teacher looking for? Or is mine good enough? You just start writing about the stuff that you've researched. All right, that eliminates all fear. Secondly, it is supposed to look messy. It is supposed to look disorganized. It is supposed to be lots of kind of thinking on the page. How long does this thing have to be, buddy?
As long as it needs to be.
As long as it needs to be. All right, now if you write for 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day about all the information that you found out during your interviews. By the end of the week, you'll have lots and lots of pages. Now, speaking of length, how are research papers typically assigned, buddy?
With like a specified length.
Must be what? At least?
1,000 words.
Must be at least, what then becomes the goal?
1,000 words.
Okay, any words?
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? What if it must be at least 8 pages? What then becomes the goal?
8 pages.
Get to page 8, okay? What then? That's the goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
What sort of writing does that tend to produce?
Sloppy writing.
Just fluffy, meaningless, empty words. A lot of people play with their margins on their computer and try to squeeze it in to make us go down to page 8, all right? And thus producing or actually teaching us how to do awful writing. Now, stick to the 30 minutes a day policy. Even if you're in the middle of a sentence and the 30 minutes is up, stop writing. What's gonna happen to you then, buddy? What do you wanna do the next day?
Right?
Why?
Because you have to finish.
Oh, wait a minute, I was in the middle of something, I wanna get back to that. I have more to say, I have more to say. Why do you have more to say? Because you did the interviews many, many times and got to know each other. Now, what happens when you're writing your first draft and let's say your partner, looked up to their uncle and had a strong relationship with their uncle who taught them how to throw net. And they finish telling that story, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know what to do next. What do?
Ask them more questions.
No, you already got all your information, right? So now you're sitting doing your 30 minutes and you've written the part about the uncle teaching him all these things, and now you've finished that part, you don't know where to go. All you have to do is skip a line and start talking about something else. This isn't your final draft, all right? All you have to do is skip a line and start talking about something else. And when you finish talking about, let's say, your partner has always wanted to be an astronaut, and so that they read all these books about how astronauts live and can't wait to get into the space program. And you finish writing that paragraph and you don't know what to do next. What do?
You write the next
Skip a
thing.
line, right? And just write about the next thing that you talked about in your interview. It's okay if it's disorganized, if it doesn't flow well. All that stuff is fine in the first draft. Because ultimately, if you write lots and lots of stuff in your first draft, guess what's happening to your brain as you start focusing and reaching the end?
It gets motivated.
It wants to talk about more and starts to feel confident, and then it starts to see relationships between the thing it's talking about. And guess what? By the end of almost every first draft I've read, there is, aha, there's my point, there's my thesis statement, I found my thesis statement. That means that the many, many pages that you wrote in your first draft have helped you to figure out what you want to say. That's what the goal is here, all right? We'll talk about how to revise in the next video, but all you want to do is be writing for 30 minutes a day, have lots of stuff, and of course, especially if you don't really know how to use quotes. If you don't really know for sure, just put quotation marks around things that your partner directly said here and there as a way to practice, and then as we move forward in the revision process, we will teach you how to use quotes, because once you do a research paper in some other class, you're going to be asked to do that, and we're going to give you the tools to be able to do that. All right, so what did we do? Did we fix this, dude?
Yeah.
What's going to happen if your first draft looks like crap? Is somebody going to come and shoot you?
No.
No? Are you going to fail college?
No.
What's going to happen?
You're gonna revise it in the second draft.
That's it, okay? Nothing to be afraid of. None of these, but, well, this thing I was full of anxiety because I didn't know that process when I wrote this. These things were easy and fun to write because guess what? Once you have a first draft, all the way to the end, not like I'm going to write about this or I'm going to add this later, I'll add something else later. No, all your info that you found out is going to be in the first draft. Now once you have that, then the magic happens. Ooh, let's see me shape this into something that's a tight, solid argument that's full of evidence aimed at particular audiences that will get them to change their mind. That's power. All right, we'll see you next time.